Hi, I'm RJ.
Hi, I'm Patricia.
And our topic is effects of beauty on sociology. So beauty is interpreted in so many different ways, whether it includes a negative association or a positive association. The meaning of beauty evolves every day as well due to people's different beliefs, desires, and expectations in general, influenced by what is being portrayed throughout social media, within advertisements, including the beneficial effects of cosmetics and plastic surgery. So for starters, we want to touch base on social media and how social media portrays the typical beauty standards that many people believe in. So with social media, many young women and men follow influencers or social media models for reasons that have to do with them being so-called beautiful human beings or people they just want to look like in the future or in the afterlife as well. So nowadays you can scroll throughout different social media apps and can find many pictures or posts of people of every age wearing the same outfits as these models, doing the same exact poses, exposing the same amount of skin just so that they just because thinking that it will lift up their self-esteem, basically. So this is exemplified by an interview with Elle magazine. It's with Emily Bringleson, who's an associate designer at Ann Taylor. She admitted to struggling with an eating disorder as a teenager, revealing that she deleted selfies if she didn't receive enough likes. And she also explained that Instagram made her so anxious, and she's always looking at other women thinking she wished she looked like that or she should get more in shape. She also said that young girls can now follow Victoria's Secret models and see what they look like in the everyday that has got to make any woman, let alone a 13-year-old girl, feel unsure of herself. So basically, these Victoria's Secret models being advertised are basically serving as role models for these young girls or young women. And it's kind of, I guess it kind of could act as a negative or positive just because positively girls would want to be as successful as them, but at the same time, girls who don't feel that they live up to that beauty standard, they're more susceptible to feeling insecure, basically.
So for social media and beauty advertisements, it has the power to influence women and men on how to look a certain way, such as having perfect hair, skin, lips, body in order to be beautiful. For example, young men today view the ideal perfection to become more muscular and overall physically fit. This could lead to young men to start taking unhealthy supplements or diets in order to gain the ideal results. In a study done including 100 7th graders, many adolescent girls who are starting to Photoshop their pictures are generally post more pictures on social media, felt worse about their appearance, and exhibited greater eating concerns. This research also ties in with a term called the looking glass self, and it's developed by Charles Horton Cooley. He basically states that how we view ourselves is strongly influenced by our surroundings and interactions. So according to Charles, the looking glass self contains these three elements. The first one is we imagine how we appear to those around us. For example, we may think that others perceive us as witty or dull. And the second element is we interpret others' reactions. Basically, we come to conclusions about how others evaluate us. Do they like us for being witty or do they dislike us for being dull? And the third element is we develop a self-concept. How we interpret others' reactions to us frames our feelings and ideas about ourselves. A favorable reflection in this social mirror leads to a positive self-concept, or a negative reflection, which can lead to a negative self-concept.
So secondly, advertisements shown everywhere and seen everywhere has the same effect as social media. In many advertisements, if not all, women and men included in these advertisements usually have fit bodies, fair skin, are tall, etc. They're not advertised to look like the average normal human being. So because of this, many people do start to believe or to have that mindset that the normal beauty standards come from these advertisement models. So, according to Nicola Kemp of Campaign Live, beauty advertising has traditionally been one of the worst offenders for embellishing reality and selling women idealized and restrictive forms of perfection, underpinned by extreme airbrushing and dubious claims. And this goes for men as well. Basically, they're saying that there's more things that are added onto these advertisements than people think. So, like with the shampoo advertisements and all of that, they're showing a different result than when somebody was to actually use it. Like a lot of people start to realize that when they use a certain shampoo that's advertised in a commercial, they don't typically come out with the same results as it looks like in that commercial. So just behind the scenes things are a little more different than the true results, basically. And so on top of that, advertisements on women have changed drastically since the 1960s and 70s, where it was more focused on women's rights, equal career opportunities, and how they can play the same sports and have the same job opportunities as men. More so, advertisements today focus on what women should buy or wear to look beautiful or to look better. And also, a lot of the focal points, if you open a magazine up, it's focused on more so the sex appeal of women. And if a lot of the times, if women aren't living up to those sex appeal standards that a lot of people feel that women in magazines should have, they kind of turn the next page or they won't buy the product. Yeah. And so with that said, people often look to cosmetics and plastic surgery to fit in with these beauty standards, strongly increasing their self-esteem.
So with plastic surgery, in 2007, there were nearly 11.7 million cosmetic surgical and non-surgical procedures performed in the United States. This is an increase of 500% in the number of surgeries performed in the last 10 years. Much of this increase in surgery not only has to do with wanting to look and feel beautiful, but also wanting to look similar to the celebrities they see in movies, TVs, influencers they see on social media, like Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and the models that they often see in advertisements. For example, diehard fans are spending over $240,000 on plastic surgery to become and look like, or basically look like, Kim Kardashian. Plastic surgery is also commonly done in order to live up to the standards of what is considered beautiful in society, because it's much easier and the results are much faster compared to going on a diet or exercising.
So, because plastic surgery is not easily accessible for a lot of people in our society, cosmetics such as makeup would serve as a high alternative or a strong alternative for plastic surgery. So makeup is not only used by women, but also by men as well, mainly to cover up anything that may make them feel insecure when out in public or just in general. This has been part of society since past the early Common Era times, exemplified by the fact that people in Rome put barley flour and butter on their pimples and sheep fat and blood on their fingernails for polish, just so that they're keeping themselves from looking dissatisfying, and also for like self-care purposes as well. So although beauty standards are most likely way different back then, it does not take away from the fact that cosmetics is considered a necessity for many individuals within the society, and is also an easier way to, I guess, measure up on the standards of beauty. So with that all said and done, we have our 3 multiple choice questions and our 1 discussion response. So our first question is, according to YWCA, how much money is spent each year on cosmetics? A, $10 million, B, $7 billion, C, $6 million, or D, $13 billion?
For the second question, social media has played a big part of young girls' lives, exposing them to a variety of images and posts by influencers or models that reflect on social media's ideal beauty. This mindset can lead to A, girls becoming diagnosed with an eating disorder and other forms of mental disorders, B, immediately going on a diet and exercising, C, social media has no effect on the mindsets of girls, D, deleting all of their social media.
And finally, our third multiple choice question is a true or false question. So Charles Horton Cooley states that how we view ourselves isn't strongly influenced by our surroundings and interactions. A, true, or B, false.
And lastly, our discussion question for you guys is, give an example on how Charles Horton Cooley's looking glass self elements ties into the effects of beauty in sociology.
Yeah, so basically, you can speak about a positive association or a negative association that ties in with these three elements. So yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you.